It's live. Hey guys, tonight I was showing my students Wakikatami. That's the Japanese word for armpit hold. And a lot of times it is taught in a martial arts school setting where it's very passive in the sense that we do the move and then we assume it will work, right? And then we don't stress test it. So that's a lot of problem with a lot of self-defense component of a lot of functional martial art. So for example, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, is very functional, but then when we teach the self-defense component, we just kind of give it a passing glance, and we don't really understand all the nuances of it. Now, I started martial art when I was 19, and because I'm such a little guy, right away I figured out what works and what didn't work, and I was very frustrated because there was a lot of things that didn't work for me, and I really had to understand it from a very deep, like, philosophical, conceptual level. So I'm going to show how we're going to approach Wakikatami from a traditional setting, and then we're going to put in a few fail-safe mechanisms so that we can branch off from that and still execute that move. If that move does not work, we're still in a pretty good dynamic position. Now, with Wakikatami, it's a very hard move to pull off. Sometimes you see it in a fight, but it's one of those moves that maybe work 1 out of 200 times. So it's not impossible, but it's very hard to pull off. So we're gonna try to make the percentage of that move more successful by having these elements in place. Okay. So if you already know how to do Wakikatami, don't worry. You can skip this part, but maybe watch it because I might have some insight that you never thought about. Okay, so let's demonstrate what Wakikatami is. Okay, so here's our armpit hold. We're here, we look at it. We're going to do a quarter turn, 180-degree turn. We're here, we have a fulcrum and a lever. Okay, and then we're going to come down and we're going to do the move. Okay, so really important to pinch this part. So a lot of people will hold and they'll do this. Now in this case, the limb structure between me and Charlie is so significant that if I just grab onto this and hold, notice my armpit just is touching his elbow joint, and the elbow joint, which will not work, okay? Because I gotta pinch this part, okay? So I have to actually release his wrist. So he pushed me. So I'm here, I'm gonna release it for a second, and if I need to, I'm gonna smash it down hard. And that's the move right there. Okay, now once I have it, I'm gonna have my lever. I don't even need my lever. I can just come down and use this part, okay? So, now, on the day of the fight, it will only work if I have enough physical strength to prevent his hand from going back. So I'm a little guy, the chance of this move working is not very high. So let's move the percentage, the goalpost toward me a little bit. So he pushed me, I'm gonna stumble backwards, okay? So let's back up a little bit so the camera can see me. As we stumble backward, we're going to get the grip, and we're going to go past us a little bit. At the same time, I'm going to step forward. All right, so we're moving the goalpost now. Right now, the goalpost is toward him, so we're going to move it toward us, so it's an easier chance for me to win. So we're here, we're going to move, and as he's coming toward me, I come right in. So now I have my Wakikatami. Okay, we'll move this a little bit. So that's my move, okay? So now we understand two conceptual movements. So a lot of time in martial arts school, they teach it like this, where they'll go back and forth with each other. And then we give each other a thumb up, and we think it's going to work. And then on the day of the fight, it does not work. And then we resort to punching, grabbing, whatever. So we're going to move the goalpost. So let's analyze this again. We're going to go past us. As he continues pushing toward me, I'm going to go let him pass me. At the same time, boom, I'm going to pull. So we're going to use the Japanese concept called kazushi, which is off balance. So as he pushed me, I'm going to control that push. So he pushed me, I'm going to control that push. And notice I'm here, I'm going to control, and then I'm going to do my move. Okay, so let's come back up a little bit. Now let's just say he's strong, he bends his elbow back. So now we have it. So I'm going to walk toward him. So for training, for this next move, we're going to make sure our partner's knee is a little bit bent. Okay, this is not, we're going to damage our partner. On the day of the fight, who cares? We're going to sneak our lead foot and we're going to bisect the line. So here's the line, we're going to bisect it, we're going to go right through it. Okay? And we're going to bisect it. I don't know if you can see this, I'll demonstrate from a different angle. And we're going to disrupt his weight. The reason why he's able to keep his hand bent is because his posture, his weight is good right now. So we're going to disrupt it. When he disrupts it, we're going to have a slight tactical advantage on extending this hand. Boom, now I have it. Okay, so let's demonstrate from a different angle. Okay, so we're going to do it from the back. Okay, so this is bad. Okay, so once again, if I was a big, strong guy, like a bouncer, 6'4", definitely let's move over. Okay, but unfortunately, I'm a little Asian guy, so he pushed me. I'm like, Charlie, you know, and then from here, okay, so you see how Charlie did cooperate with me? Okay, turn this a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to bisect, and when I bisect, I'm going to move my foot like this. And then I'm going to bump. Okay, now I can easily do a Uchimata sweep, but the problem is during a fight, unless I'm very well trained in judo and I have hundreds of hours getting that rotational swing, I might fall on my ass or I might be off. So a lot of times we train in martial art and someone will teach us a move, but we don't understand that we have to understand it on a very subconscious DNA level, on a neuron level. So if we don't understand that move on a neuron level, we only have a passive understanding of that move. So now we have to restructure that move so that we're like riding the bike on a training wheel. So instead of doing Uchimata, sweep like this, which is very hard because we're standing on one leg, go ahead, push me over. See? It's very dynamic because it's all out street fight, right? So we don't want that. So what we're going to do, we do the Wakikatami, he bends. I'm going to move in on him. So it's almost like a 2-on-1. And I'm going to sneak my, come a little bit, so am I in front of the camera? Yeah. I'm going to sneak my leg. And how do we know how far to sneak? We have to understand that this here is our axis. We have to move our axis into his center of mass. His center of mass is not here, but here. So this is my axis. This is what's doing the work, not my foot. So when you're a beginner, we only see the surface area. We don't see the nuance of the move. So we're going to bisect. Okay, now for training purposes, our partner's knees go a little bit bent. On the day of the fight, if his leg is straight, we're going to bump it. He's going to hyperextend his leg, maybe. So for training, we're going to bump. As we bump, we're going to pull this hand out. Boom, and now we have a move. If I was a police officer, that's my move right there. Now, if this is a street fight, right? Antifa and stuff like that, guys are everywhere. I do not want to do my traditional Wakikatami. I'm going to get kicked in the head. So what we're going to do next is we're going to monitor the hand position. There's an optimum position for this hand position. Here is too short. We are not controlling the shoulder line. Here is no good because he can raise the shoulder. So we're going to put it somewhere around here, around between his neck and his shoulder. And if we can, we're going to grab the shirt, and there's a certain way to grab it. We're going to grab all the fabric so it chokes up on him, and then we're going to push it down. Okay, now from here, we're going to make this foot dynamic. So we're going to bring this foot in a little bit, and we're going to drop it on him if we were mean about it. Okay, so there's subtlety in repositioning your body and dropping down. So anyways, these are things that I think about. And I think partly because I'm a designer, so I see things in shapes and form. So one more time. So here's the waki to the push. To make this move better, we move with it. So that Japanese concept, not the movement, but the controlling of balance. So that concept's called Kisushi. Okay? So if he moves back, and I move back, because I'm controlling the moving backward, technically, I am controlling the fight. Okay? So now we're here, and we do a Wakikatami move, but if he bends it, then I broke that. So let's just say he's still very strong, he comes back up. So my next move is a disruption. Now with a disruption, we have to remember it's raining, it's wet, maybe it's muddy. We cannot attempt to make big motion move, because we need to be always stable. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this rear foot behind this ankle. Boom, and we're going to raise our knee. Now our partner's gonna have to go with us, or else he's gonna tear his ACL. We're gonna push toward that knee joint. Boom. Okay, so we're a little bit off camera. Come over a little bit here. So now we do this, and he gets back up. He's freaking strong. You know, he's a tough guy. We're gonna hold frame. So do not disrupt frame. When you hold frame, it's like a furniture. We are interlocked with each other. So now we're one structure. Notice how this is on my body. I do not want him to move away. He's gonna lift. So I want here, maintain. I'm gonna move my foot. Notice my toe is up. Then I'm gonna disrupt. And then I'm gonna walk around him. But when I walk around him, I wanna stabilize this structure. So me and him are connected. I'm gonna put it onto my stomach. And then I'm gonna move. And at any moment in time, I'm ready to kick him. So on the day of the fight, it's dark. I do not need to see because I know exactly where he's at. Okay? So you want to start sensing with your body by setting him up with movement. So you do not really need to see with your eyes. Okay? So one more time, our base move is Wakikatami. So we're here, and we really have to what? Bite down. If we were mean about it, boom, bite down. Okay? So let's just say he comes up. This is the problem a lot of times when we try to do this move for real. It does not work. Because this move, the counter is a bend. So now we're going to attack the lower body. When we disrupt his lower body weight, this arm may extend. If it doesn't extend, we're just going to pull it out. So we're here, and we're going to jump in really quick. Okay? So it's all fight. Sometimes you don't have to. So let's just say I'm a fat police officer, and this guy's I'm trying to arrest. We're moving around. We're moving around. Watch what I do. See what I just did? And now I can screw that. Okay? So that's how quick this move is. Now, I'm only 154 pounds. Imagine a police officer who's 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. That arm is just going to go straight down. So be very careful, okay? Okay, so we're going to demonstrate the last move, Shimagashi, sacrifice throw. So we're going to enter from the Uchimata position into the knee buckle into an elevator, okay? So I'm using these terms because you can look them up, okay? So an elevator is a common term where we have one leg in someone's thigh and we lift them. So we're going to demonstrate from here. This is our Wakikatami. And to make this move better, we're going to pinch hard and squeeze. So that's biting right to my body. I have my lever and I have my fulcrum. Boom. But he bends it. And it's all fight, you know, and he might try to punch me in the face. Now from here, on here, notice the separation. If we want this move to be high success, I'm going to go in and I'm going to seatbelt him. So now I'm here. And then I buckle. And then I'm here. Now if you come from a wrestling background, let's turn this way a little bit. Move your foot too. Yeah, so the camera can see. If you come from a wrestling background, you can do this move and you're going to feed it. And he might not fall. He might lift this leg up because he's good. That's when you make him to go down. Okay, because you anticipate that. Okay, so you do not let go of the hand. You feed it into it and you grab. So one more time. It's like, whoa. So the best way to train this, he pushed me. It's like, I'm going to fall backwards. But not really backwards. So how? Okay, look. So how do you know if you're falling backward or forward? When your shoulder is past your butt line or when your shoulder is past your toe line. Okay? So you want the sensation. See how I'm about to fall backward, but I move my foot so that my feet, so that I'm not going to fall backwards. And then I'm going to bite down on him. And he bends because he's freaking strong. Okay? And when you notice the separation, the next thing you're going to do is grab, boom. And then from here, do the move. Okay? So let's just say we do that. We're going to do the push, the knee buckle. It does not work. And I'm a small guy. He bums rush me. He pushed me forward. Boom. All right? So we need to understand conceptually how this move works. So there's two ways to think about this. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 plus 0 is 4. So for this move to work, okay, I'm going to bump for this move to work, my elevator is here, but my axial point has to be underneath his mass. So there's two ways to do this. High level guys will jump right in, but that's very sport oriented. On the day of the fight, I do my buckle and he pushed me. As he pushed me, notice he comes into me. So that's the same as me going into him. So that's how I want you guys to think about fighting. So back a little bit. If he comes into me, that's almost the same as me coming into him. So if you think in those terms, you're able to see the fight game a little bit on a high conceptual plane. So now, there's two ways to do this move. So first method is I'm going to do my move, and he doesn't fall down. Okay, I'm going to move my foot into him, and then I'm going to do my elevator. Boom. And how do we know we do this move right? We're going to set our butt into our heel. Boom. Okay? But that's fine if you're a 200-pound guy. The chance of someone moving you is not very high. I'm only a 155-pound guy. The chance of him pushing me is very high. So now I have to think about it in a different way, where he's pushing me. So as he's pushed me, I'm going to flip him. So what you need to do is have a wide spectrum of understanding this move. 0 plus 4 is the same as 4 plus 0. It's the same as 1 plus 3. It's the same as 2 plus 2, etc. Okay? So we're doing the move. Wakikatami. He bends the elbow. Boom. And boom. Here. Boom. Okay, so that's level 1. Level 2, we're here. He pushed toward me. Boom. Okay? So, anyways, guys, let's, I'm going to do it one more time, and then I'm going to ask Charlie, because this is his first time learning the set and move. But I think it's really cool. I'm not an athlete, I'm 48 years old, but I make sure my students understand it by creating drills. And we have a hierarchy of moves. So that's another way I want you guys to think about for fight sport, is there's hierarchy. Okay, so not every move is created the same. Not because of effectiveness, but the way your mind and body can execute that move, right? So this is the problem. I was talking to this parent. A lot of martial artists, they don't fight. So therefore, they look at every move as the same. They don't understand it from a functional level, that there's hierarchy of efficiency and hierarchy of how easy it is to pull this move off. So let's quickly review. We're working off the Wakikatami. We have to understand the bite. We have to understand that he bends. We don't want to give up this move. If I give it up, we punch, he punch, then all my judo, Japanese jiu, whatever grappling is out the window. We want to continue with this move. So we're here, he bites, I seek belt. Okay, now if I don't know Wakikatami, but I know judo or wrestling, I'm going to feed my elevator in. He pushed me, boom, and I have my move, and I can continue. But let's just say I'm a law enforcement. I got to get this guy down to the ground. So I'm here, I push, and then I buckle, boom, and then I go, get down, get down, get down, right? So here I am. If I was, notice I'm boom, okay? So finally, we want to learn how to strike someone, even if it's dark in the alleyway, strobe lights are flashing everywhere. We do not want to see with our eyes. We want to see with our mind. Okay? So we're here. We do a move. We buckle him by raising my toe. We have to raise this toe so he's forced to step over. And we're going to push the knee. Okay, so let's turn this way so the camera can see. After he falls down, a lot of people will bounce onto their knee. That's fine in grappling class. But on the day of the fight, it's hard concrete floor. And because fighting is so violent, the momentum and force you're going to create is so much faster than you're going to blow up your knee. So you win the fight, but you're going to have a huge hospital bill. Or you'll never have a good quality of life again. You blew up your knee. You can never train that sport or whatever. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want this arm to bend. I don't want this arm to be out of position. So I'm going to hold it to my core, my stomach, right here. So wherever he goes, go, 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 go. I'm just going to kick him. I'm just going to kick him. So notice what I'm doing. I'm going to always try to maintain core control and monitoring his shoulder. Okay, and then I'm going to finish up with Shimagashi. So the Shimagashi is very important because we work the elevator. Because on the day of the fight, especially if you're female or smaller, and someone bum rush you, like bum rush me, right here. That's my elevator. Okay? So we have an elevator. Obviously we have all sorts of judo throws and stuff, but that's hard to do, right? So we're gonna, this is a chain move, so we're working off this knee buckle. Let's turn this a little. So we're gonna buckle his knee. He doesn't buckle, he comes, he realigns, and then he pushed me right here. Now when do we do this move? My hip has to jump into his mass. So you do not sit on your ass right now, it's too late. So either if we're here and he's like a fat guy and he doesn't want to move, I might punch him in the face over and over again. That's Kusushi, that's off balancing his mind. Then we're going to jump in. Boom. Now notice my jump. My hip line has to be inside this rainbow. Now from here, we do not want our partner to break the arm, so we're going to feed it into him. On the day of the fight, who cares? Leave it out, he's going to fall, extend. So we're going to feed it into him, and I'm going to fall into my ass, and I'm going to kick. Now from here, I control. If I need to, I'm going to monitor, and I have my move and my finishing hold. Oops, sorry.
Good.
Okay, boom. Okay, so anyways, guys, this is, I taught these moves before when Charlie was, I think, maybe I taught it 6 months ago, but maybe not exactly in this
The
sequence.
elevator or the knee thing?
Whole bunch, maybe a different sequence.
Maybe learn them all like separately.
Separately. So, for me, I'm always learning because I don't travel around and learn from other people. I have to learn from my students. So I'm going to get a feedback from my students. What are a couple of things that you picked up, or a couple of things that was a light bulb for you? Like, ooh.
What with this thing, making sure that my armpit is all the way back here and squeezing here.
Yeah, the
I
pinch.
wasn't doing it earlier, but when you do it, I see why you do it.
Okay, so how do you know if it's a good pinch? You're going to pinch, and your partner should be able to slide down. No, just stay there. See how hard it takes me to slide down? That's how you can tell if it's a good pinch. So one more time, don't do the move for real. So you pinch tight, and don't do anything else. Let go of your hand. Okay. Well, his shirt's sticky also. And he got
I'm
sticky.
using the bone of my elbow too.
Okay, good. What's another couple of details that you picked up tonight?
Well, when the guy was pushing you,
Yeah.
instead of like trying to get that bite right here, I noticed you first elongated.
Yes, elongate it.
So you didn't have to fight for this.
Yes, elongate it, right? So this is important because on the day of the fight, he's pushing me. Come on, man, stop pushing. You see how we're doing it? Like, this is the problem. You see all these people training in martial arts school, and it's so passive. It's not going to work. Right? Even now, it's not going to work. This is why I added all these other moves. And to really put it into play, you have to punch and kick each other and everything. This is very high level. And a lot of people don't want that. Okay, what's another detail?
Oh, same thing. You get there, you got
Come to the camera, yeah.
you got your bite.
Yeah.
I was like trying to crank it up rather than you're saying, well, I was like wrist locking you basically, but you had you had it underneath and you're dropping your weight back and lifting up here.
So this is what a beginner's doing. A beginner's taking the pressure off, right?
Yeah, I'm going like
This,
this.
okay.
And you were,
Yeah. So how you want to think of this move is always think of it in physics. It's basically different acceleration point. So I'm going to accelerate, this part is going to accelerate faster than this part. In actuality, this part might stay in the same spot or go up. So think of this as negative acceleration going down, and this is positive acceleration going up. So it's not a lean. So all I'm going to do is this. Do you feel the difference?
yeah.
So a lot of people will be like this. Like a lot of beginners will do stuff like this. Because in their mind, that's what they see. It's because the instructor failed to explain to them. So think of it as an elevator. One elevator is going up, one elevator is going down. That's all it is. Now, we also want to maintain horizontal line. So what we do is we do not want to go leaning backwards. So on the day of the fight, I'm just going to chop and I'm going to lean down. Now here's the problem with Kikatani. He's going to pull out his pocket knife and he's going to start stabbing me in the thigh. So right away, once I get to here, I'm going to control and I'm going to bring him down. Because I want to see what's going on. I do not want to turn. So that's another problem, right? We do not think about like we're fighting some crazy guy and almost every thug or whatever has a pocket knife or whatever, a little even paper cutter, right? So I mentioned this part, very important to monitor. So another way to do Wakikatami is here, boom. And now I monitor. See that? And then, see, notice how I control. So let's review the control point. You grab as much fabric as you can and you choke on him, and then you push down. And then from here, if you want to, see how this is too far? I'm going to come in so that this can come down easier. All right? So you have to understand this part, the subtlety. Okay, so what's a couple other pointers?
Well, it's more of a question.
Yeah.
When you're actually executing this,
Yeah.
would you consider this application more of like a strike?
Yes, yes.
Rather than like, okay, I got you. Now
Exactly. Yes, yes. So you want to think about acceleration and velocity, right? So I was telling Charlie that I watch a lot of MMA fight, and when judokas fight MMA, they make everything like judo, when in fact it's a fight. Judo is just the technology, right? So in other words, the combustion engine, right? Toyota, Honda, Ford all make the combustion engine slightly different, but we all built that car on that same technology, right? So we cannot approach it the same. So now when I have the Wakikatami, if you go to most jiu-jitsu school, whatever, they train it like this, very passive. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bite it down. Oh, number two thing I forgot to mention, if you already know this, is obviously point the pinky up, right? So you have to understand wrist control and turn, right? And so this takes years, not years, but just really understanding, okay? So Charlie has a good point. So the problem is, this is the problem I have with a lot of martial art training, is that we deceive ourselves, right? And we don't put it to the test, and we don't understand all the nuances why it doesn't work. So one more time, with here, notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to shove and I'm going to grab. I can even do that, and now I have it right here. Okay? So, do you see the difference? So on the day of the fight, I may not. So he pushed me, I'm pushed, and then I'm here, right? And now what I'm going to do is, as he comes up, I'm going to grab the back of the head and then knee him, and it's going to be a quick knee, so no one sees anything. So from here, I knee, and then I step over. Okay? So it's just the little understanding of subtle motion. A couple more things. What else did you pick up or questions? Did you sense the tightness and the angle change?
I feel like even though I feel like when you do it, yeah, it's like all tight. Like for making this video, like when you yank my arm down and I go flying forward, I'm not selling it. It's just like in my best interest to go with it or get fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
Or get hurt.
Yeah, so we have a student who's really big here, and sometimes he resists, so I have to escalate the skill to the next level. That's not a good thing because I'm only 5'4", but imagine if I taught this move to someone who's like 5'10", who's 200 pounds, your chance of executing it and finishing it is so high. You know what I mean?
When you have my arm, there's like no slack in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just gotta go with it or else.
So how come you can sense there's no slack? Like what aspect of
I
it?
can just tell like everything's maxed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the twist starts here and it's a chain reaction all the way up here and then it's just like twisting around.
So here's the subtlety of the movement. In everything, I'm here. Notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag it a little bit. As I drag it, I'm not happy. I'm going to move a little bit. See how I'm already see the subtlety of the movement? And now from here, I'm going to reach up. And then I'm going to bite down. As I bite down, we want to think about acceleration. This accelerates faster than this, and it's positive and negative acceleration. Boom. Right? So he bends the elbow. I'm going to turn into a key lock. Okay? So that's another way you can do that. But be very careful with that move, because you can go into a osotogari, leg throw into a key lock. You'll blow out someone's shoulder. Your friend will never thank you, because it's like years of surgery. Right? So don't do that. Be very careful. But, so notice what I'm doing. See how I'm walking, right? So I'll tell you guys something I'm doing. I'm constantly trying to learn, but I live in a small town and I don't want to drive all over the place. And there's a lot of egos with a lot of martial instructors. One time I got invited to a martial arts school, and this instructor was like, I don't know, 6 feet tall and 20 pounds, whatever. And he just kept on beating me up. And he was a younger kid. And I thought we're going to be getting together I want to learn some stuff from him. And that was not the case. It happened not just with him, but several other instructors. So now I'm kind of weary. So how do I want to develop as a martial instructor? Guess what I'm doing now? I'm studying card trick. Why card trick? Because card trick teach you to see all the hidden details. So I'm studying magic trick and card trick. So when I have time, all I do is watch YouTube videos on card trick and magic trick. But not just like stupid magic trick. I want to see the execution, and I watch videos of tutorial on how it's being done. Because it's training my mind to see the subtleties behind martial art, behind business execution, behind everything, right? So Miyamoto Musashi, I consider him like one of the greatest philosophers. He said, learn to see things from far away as if they're close, and learn to see things that are close far away. So a really good example of that is magic trick using cards. It's like I was watching this card trick where they were waving their hand, and 1 minute the card, like their hand is empty, and the next minute there's a card in front of them. And the guy said something super interesting. He goes, you have to sell the move. So you do big motion. When you do the big motion, you hide the card is behind him. But because you're doing this, it allows you to flip the card in front of you, and it's literally a quarter of a second. But if you just hold your hand and flick it, you're not selling the move. But by doing this, you're selling the move. And so a light bulb happened. It's like, wait a minute, that's what's happening in almost everything. Business, martial art, relationship. There's big movement and there's small movement. And there's an interplay of those two movements. And that's what makes the movement or that business or whatever so successful. You gotta sell it, right? So for example, he pushed me, right? Let us stay here for a second. The other pushed me yet? Now let's just say I do Waikikatami and I just do it from here. It's not gonna work. Now I step in, okay? If I step in, he pulls back and he walks back and moves backwards. It's not gonna work. So what I do, right? He pushed me. Look at this. He just advanced. While he advanced, I advanced. Right? Now, I'm doing Waikikatami from a slightly different hand grip, but if you understand the concept, you can try to do it without holding the right grip. See how I did it? Right? Now notice, you think you have to do Waikikatami. I mean, it's not Waikikatami in this case, because the Japanese word for that is armpit hold. So now we're basically doing a disruption move, right? But notice what we're doing. We understand on a very high level. We pass it, and it's a trap. We don't necessarily have to hold on to it. Once you understand that, your mind's free to do all sorts of things. Now look at the way I'm bouncing, right? And notice how I'm bringing him over. I'm not bringing him over the top. I'm shoving him over, and then I'm rolling it. And then from here, if I wanted to.
Yeah, I gotta bend over to alleviate.
Yeah, right? But these are subtle movement. And anyways, that's what I'm doing now. I'm studying magic trick, and more specifically card trick. So that way when I watch martial art, I have a higher acuity, sensitivity to seeing the details, right? So anyways, I think I told Charlie about what I was doing a couple of weeks ago. I said, hey, I started looking up magic tricks, right? But now you guys get to hear it for the first time, and I bet you other people will say, ooh, that's really cool. I want to start looking at magic tricks. Okay. Anyways, I apologize for holding you back. What's a couple more things and call it a night? Anything else you want to add to the video?
Magic martial arts, be a good Will Ferrell movie.
Magic martial art. Yeah, Will Ferrell. Imagine a little Asian guy, and he does martial art, and it's like magic. You know what I mean?
He's abandoned as a child. He grows up in Asia. He doesn't fit in.
There you go.
He's into magic, but his dad's a master martial artist.
There you go. There you go. Or he gets adopted by a little Asian guy. So Will Ferrell, if you do a movie like this, you have to give us royalty, okay? Anyways, guys, I don't know who's watching. I hope you guys like the video. I miss training with my students. I know we're not wearing masks, but I'm pretty sure I'm COVID negative, and I'm pretty sure Charlie's COVID negative, and I guess they're just gonna have to come and give me a warning, you know. But I really miss training with my students. I love martial arts so much. I've been working like crazy trying to keep all the bills paid and everything, and I didn't train for a long time. And I remember 20 years ago, I worked for a PR company, and I was doing a lot of ad campaign, and I got paid really good money, but I missed a whole month of judo training. And then I still got fired because I couldn't pump up the ad fast enough. And I realized that I would never sell my soul, you know what I mean? And martial art is like my passion, my love. And so if you sell your love and passion for money or something, you're basically cutting yourself. You're being not truthful to your soul, right? And so that's why tonight I say, hey, I'm going to train, right? I just want to end off with this. I have people who used to do martial art, people my age. I'm 48, and I have guys who come up to me and say, Mom, I'm so impressed. You still have your martial arts school. You haven't stopped training. My wife or girlfriend told me not to train anymore, or told me to shut down my martial arts dojo in my basement. They might have a couple of friends come over to train, and they basically listen to their wife and girlfriend. I'm not saying don't listen, but now they regret not doing martial art, right? And I'm not saying just have disagreement. I'm saying you got to fight for what you love, fight for your passion, right? And you got to stand your ground, because if your passion or love can be easily dissuaded, you never truly love that thing. You know what I mean? Anyways, more philosophical mumble jumble. Anyways, Charlie, thank you so much. All right, comment and tell me what you like.